I've been seeing a lot on the gram about your band, Big Homie. So, in what way do you feel like imposing constraints helped the creativity of your band, if any? Is that something you thought about consciously?
No, not composing like constraints like well, I think we look at constraints as a negative thing. We look at it with a negative connotation, like I can't be free. But you know, you showing restraint is maturity. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the whole less is more thing ties into that. But like being, showing constraint. A lot of my music is super intense. A lot of the music is like I got to catch my breath after listening to some of the songs, right? And I'm writing differently now to add more ebb and flow to the set list, but really pacing myself on the gig, showing that constraint. You know what I'm saying? Or just like making sure I got enough energy to last while. I don't want to get too loud too soon because like I don't want to just I need some ebb and flow to this thing. But yeah, constraint that's a ever evolving battle, or it's a lifelong lesson that I'm gonna be learning. Hastefully constraining in the right areas and not seeing it as such a restrictive word, but as a tool.
I think about this when I'm practicing improvisation, in particular when I'm teaching improvisation, just the idea that if you don't have every option under the sun, then actually sometimes it's easier to be creative.
Absolutely, 100%, 100%. Even in my, I talk about a formula of improvisation, and it's 3 steps: inspiration, imitation, recreation. Right, but it's like people think improvisation is creating something out of thin air, or it's just like, this is what I have. But like, it always stems from something. It always stems from something that we were inspired by, that we studied, we learned exactly what it was, and now we're kind of changing it up so it's our own thing. So it is original. It's inspired by a different idea, but I'm pushing it out differently, and it's coming from me. I go down rabbit holes. I be talking, go on tangents, the whole nine. So just reel me back in.
I love it.
All right.
I consider it my job to direct and harness the creativity.
You know what I'm
saying? Just inspire you to talk about what you're good at, what you're passionate about. And yeah, because I'm just interested in picking your brain, as I am many great drummers that I speak to find out what their creative process is, what inspired them, how it feels to be them. So that thing you just said about your 3-step process for improvisation, I really dig that. And I'm obviously motivated to dig a little bit deeper. So my follow-up would be, do you have a recent example of something that you took maybe from an inspiration stage and then kind of molded it and injected it into your playing?
I have a kind of organic thing that's happened to me just a few days ago. I've been writing a lot of music lately, right? Mm-hmm. And different music, like not just me to drum to, but like I'm singing now, I'm rapping, like I'm a huge rap fan, but I really do it. And like everybody who, I'm getting distracted right now, but like everybody who sing, or like drummers who sing, don't really be like singers like that, bro. Even like my favorite drummer in the world, he be singing all the time. It's just like, you're not really a singer, bro. Like, come on, stop. But I'm singing for real, right? And I've been listening to so much of the Clark sisters lately. I'm listening to and realizing how huge Karen Clark Sheard is, and just like the Clark sisters in general, how legendary they was. Like in the 80s, they was inspired. Like when Pharrell was a little kid, he would listen to the Clark sisters. When Beyonce was young, coming up, she was listening to, you know what I'm saying? So like they inspired all the biggest names of today, right? And I was at this Christmas concert, and I was and I was changing a diaper for my son, and I was singing the song. And when the song comes, my teacher told me, he was like, you gotta record it right away, or you're gonna lose it, right? So I'm recording, I'm singing this tune, and I'm listening back, and it sounds cold, it sounds fire. And I sent it to one of my friends, one of the coldest vocalists in the world, and they texted me back like, this got Maddie Moss Clark written all over it. This sound like Clark sisters. Like, what is on? I'm like, what is you on? I'm like, oh, see, like it just came out of me. Like I've been listening, I've been inspired the first step was, inspiration. I've been inspired by this, what they've done. And then I'm copying the little runs and everything. But then like when I'm writing my own thing, it sounds like the inspiration. I mean, it sounds what originally inspired me when I wasn't even aiming for that. You know what I'm saying?
Do you feel like the process is the same with drums as for vocals? Or do you feel like there's something mechanically different about it? Maybe because we all grow up using our voice. So even if we can't reproduce something exactly, if we hear influences, we can kind of do a decent facsimile, and it's just about refinement. Whereas with drums, even though you'd think you just see it, you hit it, but it's like if you hear Tony Williams or Mike Mitchell or something, it's not necessarily one-to-one to just hear that, and like there are a bunch of missing steps.
Yeah. But they voice and drums, they inform each other and they help you do each other. Well, I know saying it helps you play it. And if you could say it, you could play it. We say that. I say it 3 times a week. We all say it, right? But literally, being able to, okay, but that's the second step in the improvisation formula, right? So you're inspired by something, now imitating it and just like knowing it like the back of your hand, singing it perfectly note for note the right way. You got to slow it down. Like that's how you're learning, that you're teaching yourself, you know what I'm saying? With the imitation part. And then with imitation, that's the skill portion too. People in music schools and in academia in general, they don't talk about the importance of skill, of just being fire, of like, how do you even like get code? Like, how do you learn? And it's literally like slowing it down, looping the most difficult part slowly, looping it over and over until it becomes easier again. And you see, like, that's the universal language. Basketball is cooking. This dentist told me, seen my master class. He said, everything you talk about in the improvisation formula, I use, like, those are the steps I use in dentistry. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah. He came to the drum clinic and was just like, this is wild. But there's so many parallels. So to round it back, I think the voice and drums, they're different instruments, but they inform each other and they help you do each other better. And a lot of drummers, we ended up like they can sing really good. A lot of drummers can really blow.
I'm a shower singer.
It's just that reverb. It's that reverb. Yeah.
But also the top end of my range is gone. Like I used to be able to sing along with Chris Cornell or whatever, and now it's just gone. I don't know whether it's just because of age or possibly getting choked a lot in jiu-jitsu. But either way, it's best that I had it's best that I had an alternative. It's best that I can play the drums too. Do you see a parallel in writing as well? And I was going to ask about this in terms of the constraints, because when I used to write, I remember I was like in high school and I'm like, all right, I'm going to try to write something. And so I like pull out the sheet music and the title is just like the baddest jazz song ever. And so like, I'm like, this song needs to have literally everything in it. And I feel like the more we write, the more we're okay with just having a facet, like having a song that captures a vibe or a facet, and not every single song needs to be everything. And I wonder if you feel like that's similar to the drums, where it's like the first time you sit down, you're like, I'm gonna chop. And then like a decade hence, you're like, well, no, here's this interesting thread that I want to explore. Yeah, do you feel a similar refinement?
My overall philosophy, or what I'm growing into, is like, what does the moment need right now, and how can I use my tool, my gift, to make this moment be right? They're like, this person asked Babyface, like, he's one of the greatest songwriters ever. Like, how do you know which ones to sing for yourself and like which ones to give away? Because like a lot of them are end up being hits. Like, how do you know which ones? And he was just like, I could sing every song, but like every song's not meant for me. Like I got to put the song first, And it's like that. And when I put the song first, that's when it does what it's supposed to do. Like that's when the hits happen. But I try to just, put the moment first, the song or whatever we doing, and then try to, serve that moment.
Yeah. And I think another component to that is, it's kind of a mixture of humility and confidence, maybe, that comes from, so say like when we're first starting to drum or we're first starting to write, we're both maybe insecure about our voice a little bit, and at the same time feel like we have massive shoes to fill. And then that sort of inverts the more experience we get, where we feel more confident saying less.
That was really well put. That was super well put. Yeah. I feel the same. It's It's and even with drumming, I feel more confident with just kick, snare, hat, floor tom. You know what I'm saying? Now I can do the spaceship. I can do I love it. It's awesome. But I like equally, I love what the constraints force your brain to do, or it makes you be more musical. You know what I mean? I've been doing the stripped down kit a lot lately, just because I feel like I have a point to prove too. Oh, you said a mixture between humility and confidence, right? And that phrase kind of triggered another thought in my head. It's like the confidence part. Dang, dude, humility and confidence are really tied together. But I think the thing in the middle for me, coming from gospel church, right? The thing for me is like I have a safety net. That's where my confidence is in the safety net of like, if I surrender my body or my voice, I'm thinking of the singer right now, but if I surrender my will to the giver of this gift, I'm gonna be covered. Whatever happens, it's gonna be fire. And I think of this singer that I work with, and she lives in the air. She lives floating. She's not tied down to nothing. Like every time she opened her mouth, she'd go for a run or something, and you'd be like, oh snap! But it lands perfectly. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the confidence comes from like, this is my job, this is my mission, this is my calling. I have to do this. I'm supposed to do this, right? But then the humility is just like, I don't know what's gonna happen either. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's gonna happen, but here we go. Lord, take the wheel. And right. I feel that way about drumming heavy, and just like, being used and it being a gift, and like, when I'm doing a fill or a spot, I'm not really relying on how much I've practiced or my hours in the shed, or like I'll be down here at 2 a.m, bro. I'm just recording. This is my little E kit, my VAD. But you know what I'm saying? But like, I try to place myself back here when I'm going for the field, but it's really like all that practice is for this very moment where I don't have to think about it, where I'm not, you know what I'm saying? It's just flying out. Now, if we rewind it, you'd be like, wait, what was that? Then maybe I could find it again and show you. But like, I'm not, I'm being led by the Spirit, bro. It's kind of like blindfolded and just being blindly led through. I'm being led through. And that's really the spiritual thing of the drums or music anyway. Like, that's the only way I know how to explain it, bro. It's like the humility and confidence thing, but like there's a safety net of like the spiritual kind of thing. But like, I'm going on another tangent, but like that's what jazz music gave to the world. Like Coltrane, Monk, all them cats was church dudes. Man, that was all churchy cats. It was like Monk was playing in Church of God in Christ in tent revivals when he was a teenager. Coltrane was always talking about the Holy Ghost and this, that, and other. But like that, abandoning yourself and being in the moment and being led and like playing your truth, playing from the inside. You know what I'm saying? It's not really the notes you practice, or like a planned scale kind of thing, but it's like you're leaning on the Spirit. I think jazz gave that language, if you will, to the world. So like now a kid in school can find his voice and find his way. Yeah, you practice your scales and everything like that, but like when you get to that moment, the scales is coming out. You ain't really trying. Like that's the gift that I think jazz music has, given a language to the rest of the world.
This is deep. I was talking with somebody else about this the other day. The fact that improvisational music kind of accidentally probes the edges of the capabilities of the human brain and shows us to be capable of things that you wouldn't necessarily imagine, and also in a way that's hidden to us. So it's like you practice, if we're talking about Coltrane, you practice your scales, your harmonies, you practice your melodies, you practice songs, and then you just let go. You just jump off the cliff and trust that thing that they used to call the muse, that some people have a religious association with, that some people call flow state, is going to take over. And I'm sure that's what makes it so anxiety inducing for people who are first learning to do it. as well, because you're combining that desire to really want to impress. Like I want this to be good. I want people to like me, but at the same time, you're not, unless you fully give yourself to it.
You know what I'm saying? But like when you're playing an instrument, that it takes your life. You know what I'm saying? You learn how you get better at it, but it's a lifelong thing. Even the kids who can solo good in school and whatever, like they're still going to be learning how to do it better, how to tell the story, how to reinterpret the head. I'm trying to explain it as simple as possible to all my students. Like when somebody's soloing, they're just playing their version of the melody that we all know, right? Yeah. But it's like getting there. You know, it's a faith walk, bro. But flow state, that word has been recurring to me in the last few months, and it's like, you know, trying to like when a song comes to me and I want to record, but like being in the flow state, trying to access it quicker, like being used to being in the flow state, you know what I'm saying? And being able to recognize like, oh wait, this is it right here. So just let it come. You know what I'm saying? Listening out for the next idea.
You were mentioning that you teach, and that reminds me of another thing I was thinking about that's analogous to that idea of feeling like you have a safety net. And I'm not sure about you, but a lot of my students are kind of at the nexus of already having some stuff together under their hands, but still finding their voice and still finding their confidence. And so something we talk about is like, what you're afraid of failure, but what does failure really consist of? Because it's not like you're literally walking across a tightrope. It's not like you're in a war zone or a fight or anything. Like absolute worst case scenario, maybe you play something you didn't intend to play, or maybe you get stage fright and the ideas don't come to you, but you're still alive. You can still walk out of there. So something I was into like a couple of years ago was just this idea of like practicing failing. So like you're in front of an audience, maybe you're doing an audition or something like that. Like, I mean, I wouldn't do this at the audition, but like get in front of a couple people, friends, family, and then just like imagine the worst possible thing you're afraid of happening, and then just do that. Like, or you're worried about you'll hit a rim or something. We'll just hit a rim. Like you're worried, like, and for a lot of people, I think it's just like they're worried the refinement of their chops won't come across immediately. So it's like, we'll just play something slappy. Like break the ice, get that out of the way. I wonder if that resonates, and like if you have a similar conversation with your students in terms of like they're needing more confidence.
I feel like when we practice by ourselves, how come we sound so fire when we play by ourselves? And then when we get in front of people, or like when the moment is here, it's like we can only access a percentage of that. You know what I'm saying? We can only get to, I'm only doing like 40% of what I really, really want to be doing, right? But like, what is that? What is that? But I believe, and I'm taking it back to the faith thing here, right? But like, you know, it's a gift, right? So like that practice, that individual practice, you're honing your gift, you're sharpening your tool. Like that's really like one-on-one time between you and the giver of this gift, right? And, you know, you think about it happens so many different lives, right? But like this music, it'll show you how to be a dope person. You know, music will put you in every situation to like build your character. You know what I'm saying? Teamwork, discipline, it's fighting to the end, seeing improvement, seeing the result. Like it's
leadership, being positive. Yeah.
Dude, being in a band is being on the team. It's just being in the relationships, bro. It's like, and like the music is better if the vibe is great, if the conversation is flowing. You know what I'm saying? I went off that tangent and I just forgot.
Well, we were talking about instilling confidence in students.
Oh, and you say like finding their voice, right? Yes. Oh, and then you say like, practicing failing. It's like,
yes.
It's like one thing I think about, and I've been embracing the last few years, is like the mistakes, they're gonna happen. So like, let's not even give them that much attention, right? And lately I've been thinking like, my job as a drummer is like to like make one of the jobs as a drummer is to make everybody look good too. So if there's a mistake or something, I can in the end I can cover it up and then, like I can catch whatever's going on. Like catch it. Or like I'm telling my students a lot lately, like if you see somebody's kind of off, instead of trying to pull them back on and fight against their wrong idea, if you can hop over and smooth it over and make it look like nothing happened, do that, bro. Do that. You know what I'm saying? You're like,
Yeah.
It's because like we're trying to make each other. We're not trying to embarrass each other up here, but we're trying to make each other look good. So like it's those positive, those good failures, those funny failures, and then like laugh at yourself, bro. And I laugh at my buddies when we mess up. You know what I'm saying? Like instead of I used to get mad, I used to be like, "Come on, bro, come on." But now it's just like, I heard that, I heard it, yeah. Or when I mess up, I'll be like, "Oh, my bad." But like owning it and realizing like, yes, it's music is important to us. It's music, but it's just music, bro. It's just music, fam. So yeah, that's a part of finding your voice. Failing is a part of learning, right? You learn how to find your voice. Some people are like, I ain't never failed. I don't want to lose. I don't want to. Like, nah, bro. That's a part of the game, you know.
100%. Well, you mentioned that you're doing rap as well, right?
Yeah, that sounds so wild, but like I need to embrace that. I have to.
So I'm super curious about that because obviously I've been a rap fan for ages, as every American has. But
hey, wait, can I say something real quick? Can I say something real quick about being a rap fan? I'm listening to Sly Stone's memoir, right? Thank you for letting me be myself. And this morning, he said, when I first heard this rap music, ooh, he was like, I loved it. He was like, they were saying motherfucker, and they were saying everything like the real way that we talk. It's like, oh, I thought this was great. Like that's the first time I've heard like an old head have that kind of response to rap music, like a songwriter. But yeah, what you were saying.
No, I'm just curious because I've always been fascinated by like writing lyrics and freestyling, and I'm curious from your perspective how that's similar and different to the type of flow state you manifest when you play the drums.
I think recording words is so similar to recording drums. And I have that. I learned that from Soundfield, from the PBS show that I was doing on YouTube for years. But like every time I had to record to the script, and I had like my producer there with me, like we knew, everybody in the room knew exactly what take was the take. You know what I'm saying? It was like, and like I messed it up, redo it from the top, boom. But I felt like I was just recording drums at home. This is literally the same, and recording words made me better at recording drums. You know what I'm saying? Just like it just made me quicker, gave me better reps. There's differences, but there's parallels too. Rhythmically, it's crazy because rhythmically with my words, I like to play around. You know what I'm saying? Like I kind of like rapping like off beat, like how the West Coast cats do it, Blue Bucks and them, or how like the Detroit cats do it. Kind of like rapping too fast for the words, and like the beat kind of you got to catch up to what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? But like I'm influenced by some fire artists too. So it's like my style is, I'm still finding my style. Mm-hmm. And I had a talk with my teacher. You familiar with Stokely? You know Stokely from Mint Condition? Mm-hmm. And you know, he's a drummer first and percussionist first, but then like one of the world's greatest vocalists, right? He's like Chris Dave's big bro, right? But he told me, he said, I can't wait to hear what you talking about when you singing. He was like, you go work at it. He said, I'll tell you the same thing I told Rob. He said, give it like 10 years. And I was just like, yo, long game. I get it. Some people be mad, like, no, I'm doing this for 3 years. I'm 2 years. No, he said, you know, give it like 10 years. You develop and find your voice. So I understand that like this is gonna be another lifelong journey I'm on using my voice. Just like jazz music. Like I'm late to straight ahead, bro, or to like small combo, like playing the way I want to play. I didn't grow up East Coast or like I didn't grow up learning it the right way, I feel, from my peers, and we all obsessing over the same historic stuff. I learned it from old white dudes who was like, you know, that was cool. It was cool, but it's like it wasn't what I wanted though.
It was a degree of separation from the source.
It was a degree of separation. You know what I'm saying? And it's like if I had my peers telling me what was cool and what to listen to and like how they learned it, then I could. And I'm in Minnesota. I'm in Minneapolis. You know what I'm saying, in the middle of the country. So I used to think that we were like a flyover state because like when we're landlocked, you know what I mean? But like recently, I realized like you got to come through here. We're in the middle of the country, you know, like so everybody has to pass through here some way or another. You know what I mean? And so, I done lost track of every question you asked me, bro, because I'm just talking so much.
No, I was just asking you how rap was similar and different to playing the drums. But yeah, I think that's a great.
I'm still learning, but I know recording vocals and recording drums, it's like it feels the same. It feels the same. And like I can attack a verse with the confidence just because I just pull my drumming confidence out and like that works for me. You know, I can pull from this other toolbox to work this thing out, you know? Mm-hmm. So yeah. But I'm just in the beginning of my rap thing, my recording stages, and even my singing, like I sing better than I rap, I think. And it's like, I just got to get that out. I got to explore more of that.
You're going to be a triple threat. You won't even need other band members eventually. You can just be your own band.
Just play the tracks, play the stems from the album.
Well, shifting gears a little bit, you were mentioning the show you were doing for PBS, and I think I first ran across you in the Dilla videos.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Was it McNally?
McNally Smith. McNally Smith. Yep, that was my old school. Rest in peace, McNally, man. They shut that joint down.
Oh,
the money was funny. It was, and actually, the city of the Twin Cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul, like we are still feeling the effects of that, bro. We're such a musician city. We're such a band culture city. Like I'm from the north side of Minneapolis, bro. Like Prince is from this neighborhood. Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis went to my same high school. Jelly Bean Johnson, Janet Jackson called Minneapolis her hometown. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's a rich musical culture and history here. Every week back in the day, they had a battle of the bands on the north side. He said it was ugly. It was competitive. They was stealing equipment. They was cutting cables, intimidating each other with VHS tapes, like making band diss songs. So it's like, I asked my cousin, I was like, I'm so competitive. And I'm like, I don't want to I don't open for just anybody, bro. Like I'm trying to balance my humility, but like, I really feel strongly about this. And he was like, no, that's in your blood. That Northside competitive musician thing, like that's, and the whole world borrows from this sound that comes from here. And the whole world loved it. I was talking to a OG from Detroit. He said, anything you hear about Detroit funk, the Detroit funk sound, he was like, we was copying Minneapolis. We want to sound like Morris Day in there. We want this sound. I was like, okay. So I have to really appreciate it. That's why I named my last album Northside. Right. But that wasn't the question. That wasn't the question. You were talking about
Dilla. So
McNally Smith, and the Dilla field. Those videos. So those videos, that series of videos was like for my my senior project, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Now look, I should have been Nate. See, you're the perfect person to talk to, bro, because like you've been at this YouTube thing, at this content creation before content creator was the official term of it, right?
This is true. I used to have uncomfortable conversations with my parents
about what you were doing. You know what I'm saying?
Like what is it that you're doing? Yeah.
Is it and I think like what you were doing is what was the new name of mass communications. Social media is the new name of mass communication majors. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what we're doing, right? So man, that's short-term memory. I feel like Dory right now, bro. I feel like Dory.
Well, Dilla, McNally Smith, you sort of being at the forefront.
Yeah, that was like my project. I remember when you shouted me out from that, when you're talking about the whole Dilla field. But can I just talk about Dilla field one time, bro?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. Go.
What I'm learning is this, bro. A lot of kids think it's the hi-hat thing. Right? But like what I'm realizing now, it's like they think you gotta unquantize it, you gotta do all this. But what I'm realizing, bro, is it's like you just shift one little thing sometimes, right? like that. The first one is quantized the snare, but the second one is a little bit rushed, right?
Oh, I get you. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like it's subtlety. It's not a robotic kind of thing, but it's just like it's more randomized. It's random. You know what I'm saying? That's when I talk about Dilla nowadays, that's the main thing I'm getting at. It's like it's not the whole drunken, your whole body, and the bass is doing it, and they dragging too. It's like no. We gotta we sound like the typical college kid who's like at the Hiatus Coyote show. It's like, come on, like let's reel it in, okay? And it's like be more subtle with it, and that's what's cool about it. You know what I'm saying? Is the subtlety is like it's like we're not even trying, but it's like this is where we ended up. You know what I mean? So that's the main thing I talk about when kids want to, or students, I should say, when they want to get into like that feel. It's like it's more so like a random decision every now and then. It's like seasoning. It's a seasoning. It's not like take the whole cap off and dump the whole thing in. You know what I'm saying? It's like you pepper it in every now and then.
Yeah, and that's what's good about a mature musical fusion too, where it's not so much like, hey, look at me, I'm combining these two things. It's just, no, you just absorbed some influences and then that's coming out organically. Kind of like the process of writing we were talking about earlier. But yeah, I was thinking about this the other day, but just the fact that Glasper and that whole experiment and then Black Radio basically spawned a whole genre. And I wonder if it hadn't been for Glasper and Chris, like I think music would have been appreciably different now, don't you think?
100%. Well, I only say that just because I'm a part of that era. You know, like I remember catching the city bus to McNally Smith, like listening to Double Booked, and it's just like this is the kind of jazz I be wanting to play. Like this is what, but like so I learned how to appreciate Herbie and Miles and all the greats through my older cousins, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like the OGs, my teachers, who tell me what to listen to. You know what I'm saying? Like the way it's supposed to happen, But that whole Black Radio thing, that unlocked that was. But look, that's what Stokely told him. He said that the vocals. He said this was Stokely told me. He said vocals open up a whole new lane. He said the vocal it's like it changes your budget. It changes that ticket and price. It like I don't know why, but vocals is just a different world. It's funny like that.
Well, people like to listen to lyrics. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And look, bro, I'm such a musician. This is like my song don't got no room for no lyrics because like we just play, we playing, right. But it's just like it's different times call for different flavors, and like I'm writing new stuff. I'm writing softer. So I'm writing a ballad. I'm writing a classical thing, a feel good that I'm gonna be singing on. What? Like who thought that could come from me? You know what I'm saying? But like, we switching it up. And so the vocal thing, it just changes. It changes the trajectory, if you will.
Let's talk about your own projects a little bit. What do you have coming up on the horizon that you're most excited about?
I just dropped this Northside record with my band, Big Homie, LA Buckner and Big Homie. And you can find it everywhere on streaming. But the record's called Northside, just because I'm making noise about my city, my community, where I come from. It's rich musical history. I'm also in one other project. I was playing for 13 different bands around here back in the day, right? And the last 8 years, I've been just leaving a lot of different projects. And my wife's joke with me is like, okay, well, who you quitting now? He's like, what you leaving now? You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I had to leave all those things to focus on my own artistry, tapping with my own thing. But there's one other project that I play with. Okay. And it's like, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the thing that really took off and had me all over the world too, but it's called White Boy Summer. And it's a duo. Yeah. It gets nasty. It's nasty, Nate. And people who've seen me play for years, the sound tech told me the other day, he was like, dude, this is my favorite iteration of you. Like, this is the coldest I've seen you play.
Oh, I need to check this out immediately.
Yeah, and look, we just recorded the album a couple of weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a brand new thing. So we posting it here and there, and we got a bunch of footage built up. So you'll be hearing about White Boy Summer for sure. But like, we gonna be on. This is a duo, me and the guitarist. He's DJing, playing piano, guitar, singing. I'm playing drums, singing, doing electronics, triggering songs, the whole nine. So it's a duo. But White Boy Summer, that's really what I'm. That and LA Buckner and Big Homie, them are my only two things that I'm really putting a bunch of steam behind. And I'm able to be an artist. Bro, Minneapolis is like, every time I travel somewhere else, I fall more in love with my city, bro. Because the city, it caters to the artist. It caters to the musician. You know what I'm saying? That, like, it's a small city, but it's like, we're one of the smallest big cities around. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and there's some real serious cats here too. Like, and it's very concentrated, you know? Other cities, they got way more people, and like, you know, it takes you a minute to find like the ones. You know, I go to Los Angeles, and one out of every 4 or 5 shows, I'll find somebody who's like super cold on that level. You know what I'm saying? Or like everybody on that level, they be at all the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? But like here in Minneapolis, bro, like it's highly concentrated, like some super killing cats here, and I just really appreciate my city. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate the musical culture that comes from the city. But like, you would never know unless you came through here. You know what I'm saying? I got a chance to interview Terrace Martin a couple, like last year, 2 years ago. I think about 2 years ago. I interviewed Terrace Martin, and he kicked it. He was here for a date, and he met up with some students. I teach, right? Met up with some students. We played one of his songs. He played with us, did an interview with him. And he was saying, he was like, Minneapolis ain't no flyover city, bro. He said, you got to come through here. He said, some of the baddest mugs I know in my life, like, they just from here. And his pops lived here for years. And he grew up here, coming back and forth between Cali here for the wintertime. So he was talking about shoveling snow here. He was talking about going to Cub, grocery store, getting that chicken and them donuts. Like, so he knew, he had a real appreciation for Minneapolis. And I realized you never know who has a special tie to your city. You know what I'm saying? So like, I have to make noise about where I come from, because like that's opening doors for me. You know what I mean? Like, all my big homies of Minneapolis, my Sput and Chris Dave, and like, so it like making noise about Minneapolis has worked for me. It's opened doors for me. So it's like, and everybody else from everywhere else, they beat they city on their chest. You from Cali, you from Atlanta, you from Houston, Dallas, wherever, Detroit, Chicago. So it's like, that's our job. That's my job, bro, to like make noise about this rich musical culture that I come from. So that's why I named my album Northside. And that's why the music sounds so intense, because, you know, that's my truth. That's my truth. And like, being a tall, large black man here in this small, kind of like very multicultural city, but like very white state, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's a very intense experience, if you will. You know, Minneapolis is known for worldwide for like police killing black folks. You know, George Floyd, Philando Castile, Jamar Clark, Amir Locke, all of them was here in the city. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, my music is like, it's revolutionary, because it's like, it's bringing a renaissance, a rebirthing, a newness back to the city musically. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's where the motivation for naming the album Northside came from. So that's the project I'm in right now. Is my thing, LA Buckner and Big Homie, and then this White Boy Summer band that I'm in. And I'm teaching. Teaching is paying the bills though. Teaching. I teach through McPhail Center for Music. And right now I'm teaching ensembles, teaching kids how to be in a band, how to write together, how to create, how to record. You know, that was just the dream job. You know what I'm saying? But I went on that Minneapolis tangent to say that, yeah, this city caters to the musician. My homies come from New York. I kicked it with Theo Croker in his band, and it was just like, dang, he was like, this is your truck. Like, you could just it's like it's easy here, bro. It's easy here. Nate, I watched a video of yours a couple years ago, and you were like, I can tell if a cat is a New York drummer or if he's not, just from the setup, just from what he's able to bring to the gig and what he's able to have set up in his room. I can tell whether like where a cat is in the location. I was like, that is so real, and like, I don't have to worry about. I never had thought about like have to lug drums like on a subway or just only playing the house kit, because like that's such a headache, and driving is not as easily accessible. I'm like, dang, bro. So people are like, wait, you ain't gonna never move? You won't be in Minnesota your whole life? I'm like, It's looking nice from right here, bro. Like, this is the place where people come to calm down and have family, education, and school. So I know I'm just doing a Minneapolis commercial right now, but like, that's the reasoning behind me naming the album Northside. It's because it's my job to make noise about my city.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Your passion for the city and for the music definitely comes through. And I wish we could do another hour, but I have to let you go. But this has been amazing. Really, really appreciate your time.
For sure. Nate, I appreciate you, and keep going, bro. You know, I'm gonna be locked in with whatever you got going on. And when we see each other, you going to NAMM?
Ooh, I can't. But we'll find some excuse to hang in person at some point.
We'll make it happen. But we'll see you around, man. I appreciate you for hitting me up for this, man. Big time.
You too. Great. Have a great rest of your day.